ready to spin the wheel. This is Armchair Detective. Armchair Detective. I have a list of 259 conspiracies, murder mysteries, general spooky stuff. And we're going to spin this wheel and figure out which one we're going to learn about today, and then deduce whether it is real and legitimate or a crock of shit. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I also have the soundboard on, so we can finally do this. Let's do it! Spin that wheel. See what's going to be. I have no idea. Could be anything. It is the Black Hope Curse. We did it. It's the Black Hope Curse. Please. Okay. Yeah. Please. There we go. I have no idea what this one is. Some of the times I have like a vague suspicion on what it could be. This one I honestly don't know what the Black Hope Curse is. Very excited. I'm especially excited that we have the soundboard with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things on it and nothing else because I need a pro license to do any more. And that is one of the sounds that I have chosen to keep on there. So we got a few links here. Very fortunately, we have a Unsolved Mysteries Wiki result, which is I feel like it's gonna solve the mystery for us very easily, or at least we have like a result of specifically that's what that is, and there's probably a lot written about it, so that's good. I have a Reddit post. Any longtime Houston folks remember the Black Hope Curse? There is a cemetery in Houston. Hold on, cemetery in Houston called Black Hope Cemetery. The bizarre haunting of Black Hope Cemetery might be related to what we're talking about here. Case file. Oh, this is cute. Case file. Black Hope Cemetery. Location: Newport Subdivision, Crosby, Texas, which I assume probably in the Houston area, if I had to guess. Date: 1982. Description: Black Hope Cemetery was an old 19th century cemetery for African Americans, but today the location has been covered up by a housing subdivision. That's never a good start. We have a minority tribal land / cemetery. Let's now bulldoze it and then make something on top of it. That is the start of almost every single horror movie from the 80s and 90s. Here's the case. Okay, this one, I'm just going to read this one word for word because it seems like this is going to be it. Like, it seems like the most amount of information we're probably going to get from this wiki article right here. Let's see. In 1982, Sam and Judith Haney were one of the several couples who purchased homes in the Newport area of Houston, Texas. Even worse, because it sounds like the people who are buying up the homes in this new housing subdivision are white, and they're on a black cemetery. This is not going to end Texas. This is not going to end well. A year later, when Sam went about having a swimming pool put in his backyard, an elderly man showed up at his door to report that he was about to dig up human remains. The reason he knew they were there was that he would bury them years before when the land was still a cemetery. Proceeding to dig, it was not long before Sam came upon 2 skeletons just where the elderly man said they were. He's got good memory. They were in 2 pine boxes, each with the indentation of a skeletal form. Yeah, I have a picture of him right here. Oh, that's a tiniest picture. Never mind. I thought it was going to be... I was going to zoom in a little bit, but I guess not. Sam immediately called the sheriff and county coroner, who conducted an official exhumation. Most of the bones had turned to powder. 25 fragments were found. They must be old ass skeleton. Not only did they turn to skeletons, but then the skeletons turned into powder. These must be from like the 1800s. Some so brittle that they disintegrated when touched. 2 wedding rings were found on the exposed skeleton's frail fingers. Sam and Judith tried to determine the skeleton's identity. They contacted long-term resident Jasper Norton, who said that he had dug several graves in the area when he was a teenager. Their home and several others, oh boy, had been built on top of the African-American cemetery called Black Hope. The deceased were mainly formerly slaves. You're fucked. Whitey, you're fucked if you live in this place. Not only did they bulldoze the cemetery, they bulldozed a African-American cemetery for former slaves. And you're going to live there? they are those ghosts are gonna get your ass. You try to put one Whole Foods in that motherfucker, it's gonna light on fire the next day. Those ghosts are not having it. You cannot gentrify the African American slave cemetery. That's going too far. And these people clearly got what was coming to them with this one. I'm sorry, I don't want to blame anyone, especially 200 years later, but you should have done, I mean, it's on the, buyer's due diligence on the real estate here. That's what you should have done. Can we get a sound for these white folk trying to move into the slave plantation? Come on, man. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Honestly. The last burial occurred there in 1939. That's for slave. They might have just kept using it. Construction crews destroyed all traces of it during the building of the subdivision. That is such a look, by the way. Like, yeah, there's a cemetery here, but we just bulldozed it to make more housing. Nobody stepped up in the town committee meeting. It's like, are you sure we should be bulldozing a cemetery? Local research revealed the skeletons were of Charlie and Betty Thomas. They had been born into slavery and freed during the Civil War. They died in 1930. Plagued by guilt, white guilt, for digging up Charlie and Betty's graves, Sam and Judith decided to rebury them. Despite this, the dead would not rest. Now that they're out, they're like, oh, you guys are fucked. One night, Judith discovered that her clock glowing and sparking. Yeah, it says sparking. It doesn't say sparkling, it says sparking. When she checked, it was unplugged. Oh. On another night, Sam was working the night shift, so Judith was alone. After taking a shower, she heard her sliding glass door open and close. Then she heard someone ask, "What are you doing?" She assumed it was Sam, but he was not there. The next morning, Judith went to get her red shoes, the very important ones, but they were not in the closet. Sam helped her look throughout the house, but they could not find them. Inexplicably, they turned up outside over Charlie and Betty's grave. They later learned the same day was Betty's birthday. Sam believes this was Charlie giving her a present. I'm sorry to know that this is all just Judith, though, so far. Judith telling these stories. I wonder, does she take her schizophrenia medicine? Sam and Judith were not the only ones that experienced supernatural phenomenon. A dozen of neighbors also reported lights, televisions, and water faucets turning on and off. This is why you don't put a white gentrified housing district on top of the slave plantation cemetery. Okay? It's not a good look. And this is why you get the fucking demons coming out. The black man ain't happy. The white devil is going to perish. Many heard unearthly sounds and saw supernatural apparitions. Ben and Jean Williams moved into the same subdivision around the same time as Sam and Judith. Shortly after, Jean noticed that her plants kept dying. Oh boy. Well, you might just be really bad at watering plants and keeping them alive, which I mean most white people are, so that might be unrelated. She noticed that the sinkholes appeared in the unmistakable shape of coffins near their flower bed. Okay, that might just be like real though. You put it on top of a cemetery. Like, yeah, there's gonna be sinkholes, cause like they put the bodies down there and then they covered it with dirt. There's a hollow shapes that there might actually be like real sinkholes in that case. They would fill them in only to have them reappear a few days later. Yeah, but like I said, that might just be like the sinkhole thing. Well, we'll see where they go with the sinkholes. If all you need to have ghosts haunt you is to build something on top of where their cemetery was, or wherever their holy ground was, do you know how many Native American ghosts there must be? Like, everywhere you go, like, anytime you hear something strange, like a door knock or like a weird sound in your apartment, it's the Native American ghosts. Because it's just everywhere. Well, if you're in America. I don't know what it would be if you're in Europe. It's probably just like dead crusaders or some shit. I don't know. But in America, it's just everywhere. It's just Native American ghosts or African American ghosts. They're like the common housefly, a ghost apparition type. Ben and Jean also noticed strange markings on a tree near the sinkholes. An arrow pointed towards the ground. Oh, yeah, an arrow pointed towards the ground. Beneath them were two horizontal slash marks. That's weird. Longtime resident told Ben and Jean that he had marked the tree. Oh, he did. He said that he had done so because his two sisters were buried beneath it. Ben and Jean felt guilty for practically desecrating their... Yeah, you should. He's probably the one who made the sinkholes. Although you wonder how old that guy is if the last grave was made in the 1930s. This story doesn't quite add up 100%. Ben and Jean soon began experiencing supernatural phenomena. Random shadows slid among their walls, accompanied by whispers and putrid smell. I almost wonder if it's just like the black people in the town fucking with the white people. That's what I would do. If I was a black dude living in this town, and all the white folks started to go, oh, did you hear about the ghosts? Oh, the Black Hope Cemetery. They used to bury Negroes here. Oh my goodness. If I heard the whisper of that, they were talking about that on the local news and some shit, I would just go around like knocking on people, like just ding-dong ditching on people and shit, like kind of like moving around stuff outside their front lawn and like running away. And they'd be like, oh, the ghost was here. Jiminy, the ghost. Their granddaughter, Carly, who lived with them, reported that during the blazing heat, it's always the girls, it's always the children who are seeing this stuff. Not that I don't believe women and children. I'm just saying, well, I don't believe children, first of all. I never believe children. It's not that I don't believe women. It's just that I'm saying there seems to be a pattern here. Like maybe they're seeing something. And then they're like, oh, we can tell about this to the local telly. Okay, they're white, they're not British, it's not that bad. She would encounter bone-chilling pockets of ice-cold air. It would be very, very chilly, and you'd have this feeling of foreboding, or just, like something wasn't right, she said. Anywhere in the house, you'd have a feeling that you were not alone, somebody was watching you. It was terrified me to be in the house by myself, because you got told that you were on the fucking plantation slave cemetery. That's what you have people whispering around like that all the time. You're gonna start like freaking out and looking over your shoulder all the time. Carly recalled other strange incidents in the house. The toilet used to flush on their own. Oh well, mine just does that already. It's because it's broken. It's because you need a new bobber, I think. So the thing that like goes down and like weighs it down so that it kind of holds the suction in. It's because your bobber's broken. Because it'll just keep flushing by itself if it does that. So as the water went down, I could hear what was almost like conversations. Okay, that's bullshit. I'm sorry, Carly. You're bullshitting. That's fucking dumb. That's the stupidest thing I've heard so far in this. You did not hear conversation. You heard a toilet flush, and you heard a conversation come out of that. You hear people murmuring to themselves. We're hearing the fucking water flush. Calm down. It was a presence or spirit or something there. Something that wanted to be heard. Something that wanted me to know that I was there. Jean recalled another incident where she and Carly were about to take a nap. They heard the sound of the back door opening and closing. When they heard the sounds of footsteps walking towards them, however, no one was there. Jean added, I absolutely believe that all these things happened to us because we were on a slave graveyard. Yeah, probably. And that they were simply going to be tormented. Oh, we were simply going to be tormented until we left there. What are you worried about yourself? You were on a fucking slave flight. You just shat on a bunch of people. That'd be like you just died. And then somebody ran out and diarrhea blasted your corpse. Like, yeah, you'd be pretty fucking pissed if that happened, wouldn't you? Huh? Carly? She wanted to leave, but Ben felt they had to stay and fight, and of course he did. He described encountering two ghosts. That's another bad look. So there was a cemetery for the plantation slaves. You bulldozed all of it. You placed a gentrified white neighborhood on there. That the ghosts got angry, and then you, the white homeowner, decided, no, we have to fight these evil, wicked black ghosts that are trying to ruin our family and our neighborhood. He entered and saw one of the ghosts standing above Jean, fearing for her safety. Please don't get a gun. She jumped onto the bed and it vanished. Okay, weird. However, Ben and Jean's problems were far from over. Within months, 6 of their close relatives were diagnosed with cancer. 3 of them died. Yeah, but did they live here? They felt that the illnesses were caused by the spirits in the house. No, because you would be the first. Because they would kill you first if they could do that. I don't think did your relatives even come to the house? Were they even there for I think that's just a coincidence. I think, It's the 80s. A lot of people were dying from cancer. It's the age where all the people were smoking back in the 40s and 50s. It was finally coming up to them. I don't think it's related. Meanwhile, Sam and Judith decided to sue the developers for not disclosing that their house were built over a cemetery. Yeah, fair enough. A jury awarded them $142,000, sure. However, in a devastating reversal, the judge ruled that the developer was not responsible. The verdict was thrown out, and Sam and Judith were ordered to pay $50,000 in court costs. They ended up having to file for bankruptcy? No, maybe they deserved it. I don't know. I did say, I'm going back to the beginning, I did blame them for this. I sort of soft blamed them at the time. I was like, you should have done your research. You know, buyer's due diligence. I don't know. I would have given them like $150. I wouldn't have given them $100,000, and I wouldn't have had them pay any amount of money, because, I mean, they're getting tortured by ghosts, so, like, who cares? They're already getting tortured. Who cares? I would give them, like, $150, and I'd be like, just get out of here. Just leave. Ben and Jean followed with legal action, but the developers wanted proof that the cemetery had even existed. Jean started digging up her backyard for remains, however, she soon fell ill. So her daughter Tina volunteered to finish the job. After about half an hour, she began to feel dizzy. It was because they're digging out the corpses again. She laid down in the house but continued to feel worse. Ben called 911 and she was rushed to the hospital. She had suffered a massive heart attack. Tragically, she died 2 years later. She was only 30 years old. Whoa, is that real? That's crazy. They're getting their revenge on this family. My God. Jean believed that her death was caused by supernatural forces. Ben and Jean ended up losing their entire investment and escaped to Montana, later moving back to another subdivision in Texas. However, back in their old one, none of their relatives have reported any paranormal activity. Maybe they were happy just torturing one white family. Once they really got those people, they're like, okay, that's enough. We could move on. We're at peace now. No one has ever been able to explain what happens to Williams or the Haney. Background. Research shows that many of the bodies were buried by Jasper Norton. He was the one who told Sam and Judith that their house and a dozen others were built at Black Hope. How's he still alive? If it was in the slaves from like the 1800s and shit. I don't know. The deceased were mainly former slaves, with the last burial in 1939. Yeah, they mentioned this. 60 people were interned there in paupers' graves. Certified court, we know that. Okay. Investigations. None. That would be so fucked up if they started. The whole reason segregation existed was because white people were mad about the black spirits invading their homes. That's such a bullshit reason. Oh, that'd be funny though. Okay. It is based on the, in case you were curious, July 17th, 2002 episode of Unsolved Mysteries. This is where this is from. Oh my God, yeah, Black Hope Cemetery. Somewhere on these grounds. Let me see, can we find out which one it is? Oh, and these are Texas-ass homes, too. Yeah, no, this is definitely a slave's revenge sort of thing. Damn. Which house is it? If it's this house, I mean, can't deserve it. Doesn't look the plants are dead, though. Plants are living now. It'd be so funny if they're like, okay, only black people can live here, actually, because we had some issues. Can we walk around and see if there's anybody outside walking around here, and then racially identify them? There's a guy in a truck. This looks like a white ass neighborhood. I don't think there's any black people living here. No, I think this is this is all it is. So which is the Black Hope? Okay, it's almost all the kids in town get a real hoot and holler out of this. They say it's this one. Is there any notifications about what this is? Man, it looks like a pretty normal ass house. They have the horrible roof job. Jesus, get that cleaned. That's the sign of the ghosts right there. You gotta fix your fucking roof, man. You know those trees are way too close. Their newspapers a little bit. It's a little bit fucked up back there. I don't know if that's a ghost though. Yeah, there's little sinkholes. There is this strangely burial-shaped hole right in the middle of the front lawn. I don't know if that's related. There we go. Oh, it's this one. Oh, it's the one next to it. It was this one. Yeah, the house with the pool. And it's the only well, actually, there's a couple of houses. But that's the one. Yeah, it's gotta be this one. This is the house that had the slaves. Damn. That's so cool. So is that the Longhorn one that we saw from before? Yeah, it's this one. Okay, so this is the Yeah, and they do have a security sign up front, so this is definitely people who tried to fuck with them in the past, I feel like. That's crazy. I mean, like I said, I think it's probably bullshit. Okay, that tree, like, of course it's gonna cause you some problem. That's what you're probably hearing. All those noises, that rustling, it's this tree slamming against the fucking roof whenever there's like a slight wind. That's what you guys are hearing. Jesus. I can believe there's I do not for a second doubt that people in Texas would bulldoze a slave plantation cemetery and replace it with a whites-only neighborhood. I do not doubt that for a second. I 100% believe that completely. And I think that's true. I think there probably really was a cemetery there that was unmarked and unmentioned on any papers because it's for slaves, and who gives a shit about slaves, right? I don't know if I buy the ghosts, though. I think they found the corpses, and the corpses were real, and there was actually corpses down there. I feel like the guys, you know, some of the black dudes in the neighborhood, like the Jasper guy or whatever, they probably, they knew about this. They'd heard about it before. They probably did have some relatives down there, and they were just warning people, like, hey, you know, you're about to... There's a corpse back there, just so you know, because I buried it a long time ago, so don't, like, freak out too much when you, like, see the corpse back there, because it's there, and I know I buried it. So I can believe that there was a cemetery. I believe the fact that there was a cemetery. I don't have too much of I don't think the whole thing was a hoax. What I do believe was a hoax was all the white people then going and be like, oh, we're being attacked by old slaves. Oh, the slaves are coming back. They're making our house haunted. Oh, we gotta sue the developer for not telling us we're being haunted by slaves. I don't know if I buy that. There's a lot of inconsistencies. There's a lot of, like, it's like the very easy, obvious, like, once you know that there's a story about there being a ghost and you start getting on edge and you start thinking anything's a noise, then it just goes out of proportion. I don't know if they like lied about it, if they're actually freaking out. It might have just been like a psychosis sort of thing. I think the red shoe story, maybe that lady didn't take her schizophrenia pills. I don't know. I think that part's probably bullshit too. But yeah, I'm gonna say it's a stinker. I'm gonna say Black Hope Cemetery, real. Black Hope Curse, it's donezo. Nope, not real. Made up shit.